Yo, what is going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lamsey back again with another video, and today we're going to be going over my opinion on what I think the Chelsea starting 11 should look like for the start of the next Premier League season. Now, I'll also be going over the bench and the reserves as well, because Chelsea do have an absolute number of players, and especially on loan as well. We have an absolute crazy loan army, and I can just see us bringing a lot of players back for the next season ahead, because we can't bring any players in from that transfer ban that we did cop. So a bit unlucky, but to be fair, it's going to be good for the fact that we can bring in a lot of young players and hopefully give them that Premier League experience to make them reach their potentials a little bit quicker. But now, before I do jump into the player positions, I want to mention to you guys that I've picked everyone in if they are all fit and healthy. Now, I do know Chelsea have got a number of players that are injured, but we don't know the whole extent of how long they're going to be out for. So just keep in mind that I've got everyone that I have selected. They are all fit and healthy on that note. So nonetheless, guys, let's just jump straight into it. Now, to kick off in goals, we've got Kepa. Now, obviously, an amazing first season for Chelsea. Came with a lot of pressure since day one, becoming the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. Obviously, had a little bit of a moment in the Carabao Cup final and had a few moments where his keeping wasn't great, but overall, 80% of the season, he was absolutely fantastic. Helped us tremendously to win the Europa League final, I believe. Saving those 2 pens was absolutely extraordinary. But to be fair, guys, his form has been pretty good overall. He's taken David De Gea's spot in the national side, which is pretty crazy. I know David De Gea's form hasn't been great since the World Cup, but you've got to be in good form to be in that goalkeeping spot, especially to be Spanish. But Kepa, he's still so young. He's got a lot of improving still to come, and I'm really excited to see what the future has for him. He's definitely going to be up there with the best goalkeepers in the world, the rate that he's going. So I'm really happy to see him in the Chelsea blue colours, and I just really believe that we're in good hands for the future. Now, moving over the left back spot, you guys are probably going to think, this is a little bit weird. He's got Aspi at left back, he hasn't got him at right back or centre back, but to be fair, hear me out, it is an IMO. Now, we all know Aspi can play anywhere between left back, centre back or right back. He's very versatile, which is fantastic. Now, I believe him as a left back, he was probably the best for Chelsea. No doubt about it. I think he was better as a left back than a centre back or a right back. Right back this season, it was a little bit shaky. Had a few good games, had a few bad games. He wasn't absolutely amazing. But to be fair, Alonso cannot play at left back. He's definitely way better at left wing back or left mid, but he's just too much of a liability on defense. So we can't allow Alonso playing left back. Now, Emerson, you can shout a case for that, 100%. I hear you out there, but I think Emerson doesn't have the defensive efforts for that either. But to be fair, Emerson could be in a good shout to play left back, but I think Aspi would be greatly suited to play left back for this reason. The right back role, it has to go to Reece James. Aspi has to move back to left back, and Reece James has to slot straight into that right back spot. They've both got to play in the same team no matter what. Now, Reece James had an amazing season for Wigan last year, and if you haven't seen what he's done, I strongly recommend you go and searching him up. He's an amazing talent, guys, 100%. Everyone should know that by now. He's an amazing two-way runner. He's quick, he's great on the ball, and he can pass, obviously can defend as well. So he's definitely one that Chelsea have to keep for the future. And to be fair, a guy like this has to play in the team, and he's got the mentality, guys, because he finished his season with Wigan. He was in the team of the season for the championship, and he decided to play with the Chelsea squad, train up with them, and play in that post-season friendly, that I don't know what it was, but in America he played and trained. It was an amazing effort to do that. He could have gone on holiday, and someone like that really deserves a chance in the starting 11. So I really hope under a good manager, Reece James gets a really good shout. Now, the first centre back, I think it's got to be Andreas Christensen. Now, as we know, under Conte, he was amazing, guys. He was fantastic, and I just feel like towards the end of the Conte reign, he lost his confidence a bit. But to be fair, guys, under Sarri, he just didn't get a shout until, towards the end of the season because, all the injuries that Chelsea had at the back. But Christensen, we're all human. I know he made a few mistakes, and I know he's not, that confident on the ball. But to be fair, guys, how are you supposed to get confident on the ball when you don't get given that game time? Now, I think this season would be great for Christensen to learn and adapt a little bit better to the way, to play a little bit better out with your feet, how David Luiz plays. And I just think, like I said before, this season we're not going to have a lot of pressure. So for players like this who sort of worry about their confidence and worry about their, what they do, and worrying about whether they're going to play next week or not, I think this is a big chance for him to really stamp his name on the team sheet week in, week out. Now, obviously, the next boy is Antonio Rudiger. Now, Rudiger is the man. I think he's going to be Chelsea's next captain. I think that he's just really vocal, he's fun, he cares a lot, and he's a really good defender too. I know his stamina probably lacks towards the end of games, but he works really, really hard. He really wants to score goals when it comes to corners, and I just think, Christensen and Rudiger should be a solid pair this season. I think David Luiz's age is probably going to wear out a bit. I think still David Luiz is still going to have a little bit to do in the next season, but I strongly think that Christensen and Rudiger should be the two pairing centre-backs next season. Now, moving over to the central midfielders, or CDMs, whatever you want to say. Now, I feel like Jorginho should be in the starting 11 next season. I feel like he was unfairly criticised last season. I think he played really, really well in the way that we played. I think we relied on him a lot, but I feel like the players around him and the players in their positions probably didn't suit Jorginho's play. So I believe if N'Golo Kante is playing a DM with him, I think it would benefit both of them tremendously. Kante will be back in his normal position, and Jorginho can play a little bit more forward, can play a lot more balls forward, and can, construct that midfield like he normally would with no worrying about defence, because obviously we know Jorginho doesn't come back on defence all that much and can't really defend all that well. Whether Kante, he can go forward, can score some goals, but we all know what Kante is good at. It's winning the ball back and winning those good challenges. So if you put Jorginho in midfield with Kante, you're not going to go wrong whatsoever. Now, moving over to the outside cams or wingers, or however you want to put it. Callum Hudson-Odoi, obviously we all know what his potential is. Obviously he's got a pretty bad injury at the moment, and I'm really praying that his recovery is a lot quicker than first thought, so he can get back in the second half of the season. But we all know what he needs to do. He needs to fill Hazard's shoes, and what a season with no pressure to try and do that. And he was amazing in the Europa League before he got injured, and I really believe playing him on the left hand side, he will be pretty much, an Eden Hazard 2.0 in the next few seasons if everything goes well. Now, that I could be just jumping the gun at the moment, and everyone is hyping Callum Hudson-Odoi, but I really think if he gets going, he's definitely going to be one of the best players in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. He is a future star for this team. Moving over to the opposite side, we've got Christian Pulisic. Now, this guy knows pressure. Obviously, being American and being in some of the best leagues, now being in Bundesliga, now coming over the Premier League, this guy knows pressure. He's had America looking at him all the time, and he's a great talent. I know he doesn't have, that end product, but to be fair, we've had Willian for the last ever seasons, and, he hasn't scored more than 10 goals a season. So to be fair, he hasn't got that shoes to fill with goals wise, but I think given a couple of years, Christian Pulisic will find that goal threat ability, and we all know what his dribbling sense is like, and we know what his passing sense is like. So the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is his strength, because obviously the Premier League is a little bit more of an aggressive league to play in, but everyone can adapt with a little bit of time, and like I've said many times in this video before, this year can give a lot of time to these players to adapt. So hopefully Pulisic will be given, a really, really good amount of time as a starting winger this season. Moving over to the central attacking midfield role, guys, it is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. No one else deserves this role than him. He is the definition of hard work and determination. It is extremely unlucky that he is injured at the moment, but it goes for the same as Callum Hudson-Odoi. Hopefully he does get back in the second half of the season. But guys, we all know what Ruben Loftus-Cheek can do. He's great on the ball. He's got a beautiful goal sense. He can score. He can defend. He's so strong in the air and on ground. He's just an amazing player, just everywhere on the pitch. He's just everything what Chelsea stands for. He's been one of my favourite players for such a long time. I've got him on one of my jerseys with the number 36 on the back. Like, guys, he is just an absolute amazing guy on and off the field, and no one else deserves to be in the starting 11 than Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, moving over to the striker role. Now, this was the hardest position for me to choose out of all the positions. Now, you can make a case for all three strikers, but I've gone with Olivier Giroud. Now, I'm not saying he's a confidence-based player, but he played pretty much every single game in the Europa League. He ended up scoring the most goals in the competition. And with him playing week in, week out, you know, it does build a level of confidence, and he's not a goal-hungry player. And I just really believe that whole Europa League campaign, he deserves to play in the Premier League week in, week out. Now, a lot of people say that he's an impact sub, but he's proven that he's not. He's so good as a starting striker. He showed that for France as well, because he can play the ball to the wingers, can play it to the cam, he can do everything. He's basically a Brazilian French player. We all know that. And I just really believe that Giroud should be given a chance as the full starting striker next season. And if you say otherwise, please let me know in the comment section below, because I know this one can spark up a little bit of debate. Now guys, if it's not going to be Olivier Giroud, I think it should be Michy Batshuayi. I think he should be given a real good chance to play a starting striker for Chelsea. Now, he was amazing at Dortmund, guys. If you guys saw him, he was banging in 1 and 2 goals every game, and I think he got like 15 goals in, you know, just after January, which was absolutely crazy. And you know, Dortmund weren't playing that great, you know, nowhere near as well as what they played like this season. I just think, you know, Batman should be given a good chance. He was amazing in our campaign when we won the league with Conte. He came off the bench, scored a lot of good goals. I just think this guy is a really good poacher of the ball. Obviously doesn't give that extra bit to their wingers and everything with the passing like Giroud does, but he knows how to find the back of the net. He's not a shit striker. He can finish the ball. And I don't know where people get the idea that Michy can't play as a striker. So I definitely think Giroud and Michy Batshuayi should be our 2 main strikers for next season. Now guys, moving over to the substitute bench now, and I do believe that in the Premier League you can only have 7 players sit on the bench, but for the sake of the video we've got 8 players sitting up there. It looks nicer on the graphics. So we'll start off. Willy Caballero, you got to have a goalkeeper. Just signed a 1-year extension with Chelsea. Is a happy-go-lucky guy. Can't see him playing too many games, but he's got to sit there. Got David Luiz there. I think this year he's going to sit on the bench a lot more. I think he's still going to play quite a number of games, but nowhere near as much as he has over the last couple of seasons. I think he's going to be more included in a more leadership role, with, you know, helping, you know, Christensen and Ampadu and all those players to help play out from the back, because he has been an amazing, you know, passer from centre back, because, you know, look at all the lobs and everything that he's done. But I think he's going to be instrumental with a leadership role this season. We've got Kurt Zuma there as well. He is another player that I absolutely adore. He really deserves to play for Chelsea this season. He's had quite a number of loan seasons now, and he's playing for France right now. He's playing as a centre-back, and I can't believe France are playing him but not Chelsea. It's unreal. He's an absolute tank. He's quick on the ball, he can pass, and he's strong and tall. Like, what more can you ask for? We've also got Emerson there. I think Emerson will be great off the bench for Asby if he's having a bit of an average game, or if Chelsea are drawing or we're losing and we need more of an attacking presence from a defender. I think it'd be great for Emerson to come off the bench. We've also got Mason Mount. He is pretty much the reincarnation of Frank Lampard. Obviously playing under him probably would have done a lot for him. I'm really excited to see Mason Mount if he is at Chelsea next season. I'm really praying he does. We've also got Ross Barkley. He's another player that defines hard work and determination. I really think he needs to work on his, you know, end product a little bit. He's got the dribbling and the passing down pat, but I think if he works harder on his shot, I think he will definitely fit into the team really, really well. I know he'll work on it. He really works hard. Ever since he came from Chelsea, from Everton, he really worked hard to get into that team. And we've also got Tammy Abraham up there. I think he finally deserves to be in a Chelsea shirt. Had a really decent stint at Swansea, and then obviously had a really good season for Aston Villa under, you know, John Terrier's assistant. So great player, Tammy Abraham. I really think he deserves a chance. Then we've also got Willian there. I can't see him not featuring in many games. I think if he's not going to start, he's definitely going to come off the bench. He's a player that is a really good player to have off the bench. I think if you play him on the left-hand side, he's a better player on the left-hand side. Put it that way. You know, he played there for Shakhtar and scored a lot of goals, but I know he doesn't have a lot of goals in his arsenal. But I think with this year falling without Hazard, I think we're going to rely on a lot more of, you know, your central attacking midfielders, your wingers and your strikers a little bit more rather than Eden Hazard. Now moving over to the last slide here. Now we've got Marcos Alonso there. As we know, he is definitely a better left wing back or left midfielder. I strongly think, in my opinion, he's going to get sold. I don't know why I think he's going to get sold, but I've just got this really strange feeling. If he doesn't, well, he probably shouldn't really be on this page because he is a great player, but if we do play a 4-back, he can't play there. He can play maybe as a left midfielder or a left wing back, but we'll see whoever manages us this season and see where we play him. We've got Teemu Bakayoko. I think after his first season at Chelsea, I know it was a little bit, you know, stale to say the least. I think he started really, really well. He dyed his hair blue. His confidence was sky high. He was playing pretty good football, and then he started to slip in the second half of the season, and then all the Chelsea fans decided to hate on him. Like, we even had a chant with him with Kante, which was pretty crazy, and then that just slagged off a bit. But for Milan this season, he was fantastic. I'm surprised he didn't get in the team of the season in the Serie A in FIFA this year. But to be fair, Bakayoko, I think he is an amazing player. I think he's a great DM. He can play on the ball. He's physical. He's tall. I think he's got a long way to go. I think, you know, the Premier League is such a much harder league than League One. We all know that. That's why League One gets slagged off a lot. But Bakayoko, I think, deserves to have a second chance in this team. Kennedy is another player that I absolutely fucking adore. He's just so skillful. He probably doesn't have the discipline to play in the Chelsea team week in, week out, but I think under the right manager, he could really thrive. I don't know what his natural position is, but I think maybe a left midfield, left wing role. He's playing left wing back for Newcastle last season, but Kennedy's got a lot of skills. I don't think he has an end product yet to play as a winger, but I think Kennedy could be a good shout to come back from loan. Victor Moses is another really good player that we can have a look at to come back from loan. Obviously, he plays right wing for Nigeria and got quite a number of informs last FIFA, which was quite crazy. Obviously, was a revelation at right wing back. I think Victor Moses is a really, really good player, but obviously isn't as high quality as some of the other players like Pedro that we've got up there. Obviously Pedro, I really don't know what to think of Pedro right now because he is getting on a little bit, but last season he was absolutely phenomenal. We relied on him quite a lot. He is the flair in the team, like more times than not. And the last player on this list, we've got Ethan Ampadu, and I really think Ethan Ampadu really deserves a good shout. You know, Ryan Giggs loved him at Wales, and he plays him at CDM, so he's a great on-ball player. You can play him as central midfielder, or you can play him as a centre-back, but we've got a lot of players to choose from, guys. Let me know what you guys think. We've got a lot, you know, whoever, you know, manages Chelsea this season has got a lot of thinking to do, especially with the loan army and the players that we had in the 22 anyway. But nonetheless, guys, let me know what you guys think. I really enjoyed, you know, putting my mind in the managerial role. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, please do subscribe, and I shall see you legends on the next video. Peace out.